wonder what I am, I'm a teacher. That's what I am. I'm just like you. I've spent my career as a teacher. And it's a great privilege today to be in this wonderful place of Helmond. Jane and I have been looking forward to being with you today. So thank you for coming, and thank you to the wonderful organisation. You see our symbol of West Kidlington. It's Emma underneath the globe. That is a metaphor. There are 5 arms there representing the 5 continents of the world, and Emma is holding up the world. And that means that the children that you are teaching are the ones whose values are going to hold up this world or not. That is the challenge we have. A book was written about West Kidlington. It was called A Quiet Revolution. And I must tell you that I'm a revolutionary. But I'm a revolutionary of the heart. And I hope you today will join this movement of worldwide people, mostly teachers, who are saying, we want our world to be slightly different. We want our world to really focus on positive human values. As a teacher, I always wanted to leave a conference with 1 or 2 practical things I could do. So that's our aim, to give you something practical. But it is a philosophy. It's a philosophy of how schools should be. This isn't about a program that you've got to do that's different. This is about everything that happens in a school. Everything. What I invite you today is to listen with your feelings. Say to yourself, does this sound right? Secondly, can you remain positive for a whole day? A degree of cynicism is a good thing to have. But I know this morning, amongst 1,000 people in this room, I will have some cynics who will sit there and they'll be not engaging with me. They'll be thinking, oh yes, we've heard all this before. Wasn't it in the 70s? Well, my dear cynics, just keep your mind open. Keep your mind open. Because research will show how values-based schools are actually the schools of the 21st century. What is the starting point of values education? Where's the starting point? Well, for the starting point, I'm going to ask you a question. If the answer to this question is yes, put your hand up. If the answer is no, nay, then put it down. Please don't look at the person sitting next to you. Be honest, there's no right or wrong answer to this question. Are you ready for the question? It's coming up on the screens. Hands up if the answer is yes, keep it down if no. Are you wonderful? Jane, have a look. Behaving. Why do I really think you're wonderful? What is the really deep reason? The reason I think you're wonderful is because you, my dear friends, send messages to the future. The children that you are teaching in your classrooms tomorrow, in 10, 15, 20 years' time, they will be the ones who are the deputy mayor. Where's my friend the deputy mayor? Yes. They might be the deputy mayor. They could be a wonderful, wonderful comedian. We don't know what they're going to be, but it's because of what you are doing with the children that is giving them the messages, the permissions to be who they are. That's why, my dear friends, if I were in power, I would double your salaries. education. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to talk to the person next to you. When you see my hand go up, would you give me your attention? But for 30 seconds, tell the person next to you what the purpose of education is. Tell them now. I don't know what you said to your colleague, but I believe education is about this. It's about the flourishing of humanity. How can we make sure every child in your class really does flourish? Not just some of the children, but all of the children. Education is a conversation. It's a conversation between generations about matters of significance. Now I invite you to hold a 4-month-old child in your arms now. Just hold it. How would you do it? How would you do it? So a values-based teacher never, ever, ever tells a child off. Only tells the behaviour off. If we could get every parent to understand that, we would change our society. Because if you go into a supermarket and watch parents, some parents, they will often tell the child off and not just the behaviour. So cut through it all. We learn from adults. You are role models. You are so powerful. The messages you are sending to the future. The children are watching you. Everything you do, they watch. I wonder how many of you have made an agreement with a child in your class that they can't do something. It only takes a raising of the eyebrow to make the child feel, If we're honest, most of us will have to put our hands up, because I know I've done that. It's very easy to do it. An experiment for you. I don't know what the Dutch for fleas is, but someone will know. Have a jar of fleas, and have these little fleas that will jump up and down to the lid, where the lid is. Watch them for a fortnight, and then after 2 weeks, unscrew the lid and take it off. What you will find is that the fleas jump up to where the lid was. A good metaphor. Children will jump to your expectations. If your expectations are high, the children will go there. If they're low, they won't. A values-based school sets the sights high. It inspires the children in a can-do culture. We can do it. We can get there. It's about inspiring the pupils to live the values. You can all talk values. I can ask you to talk to the person by you about values. But when I watch you on your bicycles or in your cars in Helmond, will I see you actually behaving in a values-based way? The big question, what is a value? What is a value? Another 30 seconds. This is where an audience can go quiet. I am not asking you to say the name of a value. I'm asking you, what are you going to say to your children tomorrow when they say, where were you yesterday? What are you going to say a value is to them? When you see my hand go up, stop talking. You've got 30 seconds to tell the person next to you, what is a value? Talk now. How can you be a values-based teacher? How can you be a values-based school? Number one, focus on your classroom environment. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a challenge. Tomorrow, before you go in your classroom, will you please stand at the door and just look in? And if you can, get on your knees if you're teaching very small children. All right? Look at the classroom as though you've never seen it again before, and just look and say, is this a values-based environment? Are notices at children's height? What do I put on my door? Is it just 1G or something like that? Just have a look at your door, your display, everything. Principals of schools here, please look at the front entrance of your school. What does it say on your front door? What does it say? Does it welcome me into the school? If I was standing in your entrance of your school, what would I feel like as a visitor? Would I feel welcome or not? What most people talk about when they are talking about their wows, it's usually about some event in their personal life. Perhaps they've had a marriage. Perhaps there's been something to do with relationships. It's very rarely that somebody says, well, I've bought a new car. Those aren't the things that give us the wow. Now, as teachers, what I want you to do is to remember your wow. And when life gets difficult, when you are challenged, remember your wow. Values-based teachers have smiling eyes and give unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers, the psychologist, talked about unconditional positive regard. A values-based school is full of friendship, it's full of tolerance, it's full of care. It is a peaceful environment. It has all those positive human values. It has a lot of patience. My challenge for you is, what are you going to do tomorrow in your classroom? Take these values, play with them, make them experiential. I believe, colleagues, that if you take values into your classroom, you will change your classroom, and by so doing, change the world. Thank you all very much. This has been one of the most incredible days for Jane and myself. To be with you folk here has been an inspiration. I will be taking the atmosphere of today to other places in the world. I have met teachers today who really are an inspiration. There was something I didn't do this morning, which I went away thinking, this is so important, I must bring it to the plenary session. It is stopping for just a minute. Those of us who have worked with values education around the world have realized that in order for us adults to be values educators, we have to be in the right spot internally. And one of the techniques that has helped Jane, has helped myself, and has helped so many people around the world, particularly in war-torn places, has been the ability, no matter what's going on, just to stop and take 1 minute of stillness and silence. Some people find stillness and silence extremely difficult. It's countercultural. We're always told to be on the move, not to be still. But I'll make a promise to you this afternoon. If you take me really seriously on just a minute, I may be saving your life, or actually giving you a better life for a longer period. So what I'm going to ask every everybody in this room to do. If you've got a job to do, stop doing it. Just be still. And what I'd like you to do is to take your eyes off me. Either close your eyes or just let them go out of focus. But for 1 minute, just be aware of your thoughts. Just be aware of them. This is, I think, one of the most inspiring little video clips in the world. It is very moving. I'm going to play it to you. It's about a blind man who's begging in Glasgow in Scotland.
It's what we do, how we are, and from everybody I've met, from Mayo and Eric and all the young people who've been part of this, your local supermarket, it has been such a wonderful community event that I think Neil and I have both felt so held in the process. So thank you.
Jane and I have had a wonderful time with you. We know that you're going to take values to the whole of the children in this wonderful city. Be the change you want to see in the world. Don't point the finger at others, but really make that change and be a values-based community. On behalf of us both, thank you very much. Thank you.